Hello and welcome, I'm Misstical. This is Misstical Gaming. I'm jumping into what your rounds. We're going to have a look at Sythra or Sythra, depending on which way round you want to go with it. Piercer, Chaos, Ancient exclusive, summonable this weekend. Single dart target, physical damage, defense penetration, defense reduction, so summons. We haven't done any awakenings on her. We've got her up to 60. We haven't done her skills or anything like that. We haven't got a gear on her. And we haven't done any awakenings. This is the team we're sort of running and we're playing around with. There's some bits that we're going to use. We're just going to chuck her in. We'll have a look at her skills, go through those, then we'll do a bit of a damage test with her. Help me out with the damage test. I'm not overly chuffed with it, to be honest, but let's chuck her in to start with and then move me out of the way a little bit as we go over the sort of basic attack, really. So the basic attack does 100% damage to one enemy prior to the airborne units, and then you can up that by 20% as well with skills. Okay, and there you go, boom, she hits one person, she does an attack, she hits one person, doddle, nice and easy. Right, her first passive. Now she continuously deals damage to the same target and it reduces attack interval by 3% up to 6 stacks. Now you can get that up to 5% to up to 6 stacks as well. So your worst case scenario is you're going to have 18%, or if you get a fully maxed out, then you can get that up to 30%. Okay, so effect disappears after stop dealing damage for 6 seconds, then converts to restoring an additional 1% rage per second. Okay, right, so that is a big shortage. So she's going to shorten down attack intervals. So the more speed you have on her, the less effective this is, because there's less of a gap for to close. Now bear in mind, I believe you can actually cap out attack speed, so go careful. I think if you get more than about an additional 350 attack speed on her with that, then you'll be close to sort of capping out her attack speed as well. Okay, so just sort of watch out for that, but it's nice, she's going faster. Of course, the faster she goes, she's going to build up more rage as well. Okay, right, her second passive. The hero has 10% defense penetration. Boom, that is one statement that stands alone. This hero has 10% defense penetration. The other stuff that goes with this passive is additional to that. Okay, so for every one allies within 2 tiles, including herself, whose HP is below 70%, she gains an additional 3% defense penetration, stacks up to 3 times. Okay, and again you can up that as well. You can get the penetration increased and the initial penetration, so you can play around with that quite a lot the more you skill her up. So that's quite a good passive. I think the levels in there are quite good for it as well. So there she goes, she's attacking away quite nicely. Happy days with that. Okay, really pretty good. Now she is all about this single target stuff, so she does a lot of damage. She does damage, and everything about her is there to increase the damage. Now she's got a talent as well, so when a unit retreats, dies, or the hero's summon perishes in range, her attack increases by 15% for 10 seconds. Right, first bit. If you pull a hero back, boom, she gets this. If the hero dies, she gets this. Or the hero's summon. Remember at the beginning, she's a summoner as well. She does a summon. If that perishes, or when that perishes, she gets this as well. Now, something to bear in mind, I've tried some Wukong's clones. I've tried Wailing Skull, and I've tried Zaris as well. I can't get this to trigger with anyone else's summons, clones, or anything else. It is only her summon. Okay, so that's something for you to bear in mind. The next basic attack then deals 200% damage and inflicts defense reduction. This is different to penetration. Okay, so penetration your hero has, and your hero is going to go boom, 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 and shooting loads of arrows. I'm going to penetrate that and have a penetration on that target. Defense reduction is a debuff they're placing on, so your whole team is going to get the defense reduction. Okay, so they are slightly different in that respect. Okay, one's team wide, one is personal, but you can have defense reduction, and on that defense reduction you can still have penetration. Okay, so that does have a per out as well as the rest of the team, but the defense or the penetration she's got, that just helps her out. Hope that sort of makes sense. Defense reduction on the target. If triggered when the hero's HP is below 60%, the duration is extended by 5 seconds, and also the attack increase is raised to 20%. Okay, so instead of the 15. Right, so there is a lot there to get through. If I put Superhero Decimus down, what's going to happen is Decimus is going to stand there and do some attacks. Now he is within that 2 tile range for us, so that's important. Okay, we can see we hit here for 2,979 points of damage. Okay, Destructive Spit is going to come along, that's going to do some damage to us, and Decimus will go below the 60%. He will go all the way almost to 0, but he's going to go unyielding for us, and that's the bit we're going to rely on. Okay, so Decimus gets like a double whammy for this. Okay, really good for us. Okay, so there he goes, he's gone below. Okay, now when we hit, we get a small increase. We're now up to 2,987 points of damage. So we've increased our damage a little bit. And now if we roll this forward, and then when Decimus dies, we should get another increase as well. So 2,987, there's Decimus down, and now we're up to 3,608. Okay, so we get that increase as well. Right, so that's the sort of stages and the steps she goes through. Okay, now let's get on to the ultimate. Now the ultimate, this is where a summon comes in. He summons Tormented Skull in attack range. When summoned, it deals 100% AoE damage one time to up to 8 enemies in target around the Tormented Soul. When the hero's current HP is greater than 30%, consumes 40% of the current HP. Okay, 40% of the current HP. You can't kill yourself with this. Okay, what's the Tormented Soul do? So the Tormented Soul rapidly shoots at one enemy within its owner's attack range. Initially can shoot 10 times and dealing 240% damage each time. The Tormented Soul perishes after all shots are used. It stays there until all shots are used. Okay, prioritizes airborne targets. The arrow gets a return count each time it hits a fallen target. Up to 3 can exist on the field. Okay, there we go. So there's our damage there. Now our damage is 215,000 points of damage. I've put some gear on and skilled her up by now. Okay, and we'll do some other runs in a minute, but that's the damage we're at as we normally just attack. Okay, the 215k. Now if we rerun this and do our little Decimus trick again, then we're getting an increase in the damage we do, so we're getting that penetration increase for us as well. Okay, so we can work this in, and what we're doing is we want to look to see if our Tormented Soul also gets that damage increase for us as well. Okay, so we are going to, there's Decimus hit, boom, 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 and now we trigger it off. Okay, so our Tormented Soul now 215,170 points of damage. Okay, get a very small increase, so it does look like it carries over to the Tormented Soul as well. Now the other thing I've done is I've done a run on Nightmare 4. I wanted to sort of do a damage test on her as a single target DPS. So I've put together a small team. I placed them all down in the same order. All the people who could do Invig they don't have gear on there to do invigoration buff. I didn't want it falling on to different people, and I placed everyone down in the same order, and I then just put 2 times an auto on and let it run through. I then took her out and replaced her with Hex, and then I took Hex out and replaced her with Silas. I just sort of wanted a rough guide on how she's actually doing. Like I say, I'm not overly happy with it. I would take it with a pinch of salt. It's not an ideal way to do a damage test, and I can't think of a way. If you've got a better or a fairer way to do it, please let me know in the comments below. Happy to have any constructive criticism you like whatsoever. It will give you a better product going forward. So when I did it with Hex and the same run through for the same team, these were the results I got. The Song Wukong came in at 84 mil, Hex came in at 71 million, Ivar came in at 55, and Ingrid came in at 42. Now everyone is a 0. Hex has exactly the same kit on as I've used here and as I've used on Silas, and that also goes for the artifact as well. So Hex doesn't have his artifact on. Okay, neither will Silas have his artifact on. they all stick with the siphon, spirit siphon artifact on who I've gone with her. I'll show you the gear after the run with her, and then you can see the gear as well. So that's pretty much it, and it's not an ideal comparison. I'm not overly chuffed with it, but I think it sort of gives us a rough guide. So again, some will come in a little better. He done the 88, Silas done a little better, 74, and then you've got the 56 and the 41. We're fine. Now she's in Infernal Roar, which probably helps out her a bit more being a summoner. So your summons benefit from Infernal Roar, and Silas probably does better on Infernal Roar as well. So bear that in mind. X would have probably been better off in Soulbound Arcana. So this is just sort of a rough guide on how things pan out. Okay. Also, she's applying a debuff, so people on her team will do more damage because she's doing that defense reduction as well. Okay. She is debuffing the boss. Now, the strange thing about this, I suppose, was I was probably more surprised about the damage she kicked out more than anything else. I didn't expect her to come around at the 85mm. She's done remarkably well for the damage. I was surprised. There you go. A single target damage isn't terrible, and I was probably expecting it to be maybe a little worse than it is. And it's only one run. I would take it with a pinch of salt. She may not be that good when you actually get her up and running, but who knows? Okay. There we go. That was the run. I thought it was interesting to do and see. I was curious to see how far off the mark she was. Well, actually, she was pretty spot on. But like I say, gearing and things and when to time your ultimates haven't been taken into account. It was just a straight auto run. I don't think she's terrible. I don't think she's lacking DPS on that straight up normal single target thing. So we're going to do the gear, then we're going to pop over to Arena, because Arena's weird. Well, on the test server it appears to be anyway, so I don't think it works completely right, but let's have a look at the gear. So this is the gear she's in. Like I said, I've gone for Infernal Roar, went for Wicked Vengeance, and it's the same gear as I swapped over onto everyone else as well. Okay, so that's the artifact. So that was the same gear as I swapped over. It's not an ideal test. If you've got a better way or an easier way to run a fairer test, I'd love to hear it. Okay, now I've had a little try in the arena. I think the arena is broken here, or it maybe where you are here matters in how your defense team runs. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But this is what I've gone for arena. So this is the anti-air arena. Okay, so let's go now. Quick look at this. So is wrong. Do an anti-air. I mean, she can run single target as well, but bear in mind her ultimate. Okay, the last bit on her ultimate was about the tortured soul. So when we come in, let's we'll speed this up a touch. Right, there we go. We can get her up and running. That's that done. Right, wave one done, and then fire this off. Boom, and we've got that running now. Okay, right. Now wait for these to come in range, and there's the tortured soul. We can see that he's going to stay there until he's done his attacks. So there we go. All right. There's our ultimate ready again. Boom. We can take another one. Now we can use Laurel. Boom. We can get rid of Laurel. There we go. Now we should have used up 80% health. Remember, you're only taking 40% of the health you've got available. There we go. There's our next one. So there we are. We've now had 3 on there at the same time, which is the max you can get. It does say you can have 3 running at any one single point. Okay. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Love her to bits. I think if you get her, fantastic. You shouldn't feel upset. Would I pull for her? Probably not on a banner where my Lord Pity could get used up by Denny, which is essentially the issue I'd have with it, I suppose. So I probably won't pull for her, but if you got her, should you feel upset? I don't think so in the slightest, no. At defense reduction and penetration, I think, is going to come in really helpful for you. I think that's going to work out really well. But like I say, I think the arena here is probably a little bit broken, because you shouldn't be able to get this far with a single target damage dealer on anti-air. Okay, but good to see. I think she works well. I think she's a nice pull. I think she's a good champion, but I won't be pulling for her. I don't want my Lord Pity taken up by Denny, and there is no pity system for ancients still. There she is. Good hero. I think she'll do well in single target. And the other thing to mention with her as well, I haven't tested this yet, I haven't got around to it. If you're running Durza as well, remember that, where is it? Yeah, he's doing attack speed increase as well. She's already getting that attack, chucking an attack speed increase with her as well. And yeah, he's going to chuck in the vulnerability as well, while she chucks in defense reduction, which are different. Okay, so you'd have both types of buffs on there that are stacking, and she'll be doing penetration. Yeah, I think they'd pair really well together. There you go. I think she'll work well in a Chaos team. I think she'll work particularly well with Durza. I think that would be quite a nice little pair up. There we go. If you want any different testing done, or there's other things you think I should be doing on the test server, please feel free to put them in the comments below. More than happy to help out. Again, any constructive stuff you put in there, I will try and introduce, and that way you will get a better product at the end of the day that you want to see, and that is beneficial for you going forward. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share the video out and about. That would help me out massively, and I'll see you all in the video again soon. Cheers.